So we've got a practical based question here on osmosis. I'm sure you've all done your potato prac. You probably did it at GCSE as well. And by the way, if you want to see a longer video all about this required practical, which is required practical 3 at A level, check out the video that I've just made over on YouTube where we go through the prac, we go through the method, and we do some questions as well. But for today, we're just going to try and answer this one. Explain the result for the potato chip in the 0.8 mole per decimeter cubed sucrose solution. Now, obviously in the exam, they've given you a big table with all of the results, but I've just given you here the bit that we need for this 3-mark question. So this was the concentration of sucrose that this potato chip was in. The initial mass before it went into that solution was 2.72 grams, and the final mass was 2.2 grams. So the first thing I would do is think, look, it's lost mass. Why is it lost mass? Obviously, water must have moved out of those cells. And I can actually get one of the marks just for saying water has moved out of the cells, but I have to say by osmosis. So don't forget to use the key term. So many students didn't use the word osmosis anywhere in their answer, so they will have lost that first mark. But that's really easy to get. Even if you feel like you don't really understand water potential, you can all get that mark because you can see it's lost mass. So clearly water has been moving out, and water does move by osmosis. We can also get a mark for saying it moves across a partially permeable membrane, which will be the cell surface membrane of these potato cells. So I would say always just stick that into your answer for osmosis in case it's worth a mark. Now, the third marking point is the one that's trickier to get because obviously we have to talk about water potential and explain why the water is moving out. But if you just remember your definition of osmosis, so you remember, well, it always goes from a higher to a lower water potential. So if it's moving out of the cells, that's telling you the water potential in the potato cells must be higher than the water potential in the solution. That's why it's going out, because it's going down the water potential gradient. And that makes sense because this is quite a high concentration of sucrose. So you've got a lot of solute dissolved in the water. So it would have a very low or a more negative water potential. So we can say the 0.8 moles per decimeter cubed solution has a lower water potential than the potato cells. Or you could have said it the other way around. The potato cells, like in their cytoplasm, must have a higher water potential than the solution because water always goes from a higher water potential to a lower water potential, explaining why it's moved out, why the potato cells have lost mass. So I actually think that's pretty nice, but I am always surprised by how many students get the direction of movement wrong because they don't really understand water potential. So do check out all of my other videos here on TikTok or on YouTube so you can fully understand osmosis and required practical 3.